In a small, quaint village nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, lived a young man named Elias. He was known for his kindness, hard work, and unwavering dedication to his ailing grandmother, Alma. Alma had raised Elias since he was a child after his parents perished in a tragic accident. Now, as her health declined, Elias took it upon himself to care for her, working tirelessly in the fields by day and tending to her needs by night. Elias often went to bed exhausted, his body aching from the long hours of labor, but his heart was full of love and gratitude for Alma. She had been his rock, his guiding star, and he would do anything to ensure her comfort in her final days. The villagers often remarked on Elias's devotion, admiring his selflessness and strength. Despite the hardships, Elias found solace in the simple joys of life, the song of birds at dawn, the rustle of leaves in the evening breeze, and the quiet moments spent with Alma, listening to her stories of the past. One day, while Elias was in the village market, he noticed a weathered trader setting up a stall. The trader's table was laden with various exotic goods, including a small pouch of herbs that caught Elias's eye. Curious, Elias approached the stall. "Excuse me, sir," Elias began. "What are these herbs? I've never seen anything like them." The trader, an old man with a twinkle in his eye, looked up and smiled. "Ah, young man, you have a keen eye. These are no ordinary herbs. They come from a distant land and are said to have miraculous healing properties." Elias's heart skipped a beat. "Miraculous? Do you think they could help someone who is very ill?" The trader nodded slowly. "Perhaps. But be warned, these herbs are powerful. They can heal, but they come with their own risks. Use them wisely." Desperation and hope swirled within Elias. "I'll take them. My grandmother is very sick, and I'll do anything to help her." The trader handed over the pouch with a solemn look. "May they bring you the healing you seek, young man. But remember, every cure has its cost." Elias returned home that evening with the small pouch of medicinal herbs. He found Alma sitting in her favorite chair by the window, staring out at the darkening sky. The light from the setting sun bathed her in a warm golden glow, highlighting the deep lines of age and wisdom etched into her face. "Grandmother, I brought something for you," Elias said, his voice gentle. Alma turned to him, her eyes glistening with a strange mix of affection and something else Elias couldn't quite place. "Thank you, my dear boy," she replied softly, taking the herbs from his hands. "You've always been so good to me." Elias prepared a warm tea with the herbs and handed it to Alma, watching as she sipped it slowly. "Do you think these herbs will help, grandmother?" Elias asked, his voice filled with hope. Alma looked up at him, a mysterious glint in her eyes. "They just might, Elias. They just might." As the night wore on, Elias noticed a change in Alma's demeanor. She seemed more alert, her eyes sharper, and her movements more deliberate. For the first time in months, she stood up from her chair without assistance. "Grandmother, you seem better," Elias exclaimed, his heart swelling with hope. Alma smiled, but it was a smile that sent a chill down Elias's spine. "Yes, I do feel better, Elias. Much better indeed." Days turned into weeks, and Alma's health continued to improve at an astonishing rate. She moved around the house with newfound energy, her eyes always following Elias with an intensity that made him uneasy. Despite his unease, Elias was overjoyed to see his grandmother well again. He marveled at the transformation, wondering if perhaps the old stories about the herbs were true after all. One night, as a full moon bathed the village in silvery light, Elias woke to find Alma standing over him, her eyes gleaming in the darkness. Her presence was both comforting and unnerving, a stark contrast to the frail woman she had been just weeks before. "Grandmother, what are you doing?" Elias asked, his voice groggy with sleep. Alma's face softened, her expression a mix of sorrow and resolve. "Forgive me, my dear boy, but the time has come." Before he could react, she whispered, "I love you, Elias," and with a swift, unexpected motion, Alma revealed a small, ornate dagger and plunged it into Elias's chest. Pain and confusion flooded his senses as he gasped for breath, staring up at his grandmother in shock. "Why?" he managed to choke out, his voice weak. Alma's eyes filled with tears. "I love you, Elias, but I made a pact long ago. A pact for eternal life, but it requires a sacrifice, a life for a life. The herbs you brought me, they were the final ingredient. I never wanted it to be you, but fate has decreed it." Elias's vision blurred as darkness closed in around him. His last thoughts were of the grandmother he loved, and the twisted fate that had led to this tragic end. He remembered her lullabies, her comforting touch, and the way she had always been there for him. The betrayal cut deeper than the dagger, a wound that would never heal. Alma pulled the dagger from his chest, and Elias, driven by a surge of adrenaline and a desperate will to live, tried to fight back. He pushed against Alma with all his remaining strength, managing to knock the dagger from her hand. "Grandmother, no. There has to be another way," he cried, his voice strained with pain and betrayal. But Alma, with a strength that belied her age, overpowered him. She pinned him to the bed, her eyes filled with a sorrowful determination. "There is no other way, Elias." "I wish there were," she whispered, her voice breaking. Elias's vision blurred further as he struggled against her grip, but his strength was fading fast. He tried to speak, to plead with her, but the words caught in his throat as darkness closed in around him. As dawn broke over the village, Alma stood by the window, staring out at the world with a mixture of grief and determination. She had gained eternal life, but at a cost that would haunt her forever. The villagers would soon whisper of the miracle of Alma's recovery, but she knew the dark truth that lay behind her renewed vigor. In the quiet moments of the early morning, Alma's thoughts turned to Elias, her beloved grandson. The price of her immortality was a burden she would carry for all eternity, a reminder of the love she had sacrificed and the pain she had inflicted. She had traded one kind of suffering for another, and the weight of her choice pressed heavily upon her soul. "Forgive me, Elias," she whispered to the empty room, her voice breaking. "I never wanted this." The village remained unaware of the dark secret hidden within their midst, and Alma, now seemingly ageless, continued her life with a heart full of sorrow and a mind haunted by memories of Elias. The rolling hills and dense forests that surrounded the village held their secrets well, but the echoes of past deeds lingered in the air, a silent testament to the high price of eternal life. Please like and subscribe to the channel to get notifications on new videos.